there's Kevin with GatheringMatch.com with match number 2 with the Seasons Passing Troll. The same person queued back up. I waited a little bit, like a minute. Usually I try to do that to get a diverse amount of games. So this could be a repeat of the last match. This is a very good hand versus that particular deck. We don't have the mana for Chandra, but 3 mana, Deadweight, Grasp of Darkness to control the early game. I have green, black, Noxious Gearehulk with 3 more mana, Chandra with 3 more mana, ideally with drawing red sources. And these are all the key cards to beat the 3-color aggro. So, like what I see. We are also on the draw, I believe. I always click OK so quickly. Oh, I chose to play first, so we'll go with Hissing Quagmire. So yeah, Shamble Back is a good reason why I keep it in these type of decks, because Scrap Heap Scrounger can be a mess for control decks to deal with. So our opponent could have switched decks. It's kind of the switcheroo in Magic in the online queue, on the 2-man queues, is if you see opponent queue back up with the really quickly, you bring in the anti-deck. But White, we did see in his last deck, which was a 3-color aggro. And there is the Scrap Heap, which is going to get not Grasp, because I'd rather use that for a card that I can, like a chopper. So we'll just deadweight it. So no red source yet, and a huge majority of his deck is red. Unlicensed Disintegration, the Veteran Motorist, the Depala. See if a Thalia comes down. We've used all of our basic lands here. That's something we will grasp, but we don't need to do it yet. We'll do it end of turn. And then we have the Dark Salvation that can take out a 2-drop and give me 2/2/2s. Toolcraft Exemplar is a perfect target for that, actually. And the Smuggler's Copter. So most likely we'll be able to crew the Smuggler's Copter, but I think we go for the zombies here. Unless there's just something. I could transgress and get rid of like an Unlicensed Disintegration and just get 1/2/2 zombie. But I think I'd rather just spend my mana this turn. And there's another Toolcraft Exemplar which he can crew, the Chopper, and set up his hand. And let's see what he loots away. So he's definitely digging for a Concealed Courtyard or an Inspiring Vantage or Needle Spires or something like that to give him the red. Basic Mountain would be good. Harness Lightning goes away, which is a decent card versus us. Now I'm going to definitely try to rip out a Gideon. We can Noxious Gearehulk, I don't care. I'd rather just rip out Depala here. Yeah, Depala. I think that's worthwhile. And we'll actually Hissing Quagmire and attack in. So our opponent's down to a 14. Has Unlicensed Disintegration and another Toolcraft Exemplar, neither which can be cast. So he's going to crew again. Swing in, get us down to a 14. And I'm pretty sure like a Apprentice is going to get ditched. At this point in the game, it's not the strongest card. Most likely going to have to use my Noxious Gearehulk. Best case scenario is he loots, finds a land, throws out a Gideon, -2s, or +0's Gideon, puts out a 2/2, kill with Noxious Gearehulk, kill the Gideon. he does find the Concealed Courtyard, and then he has some unknowns in hand. I don't really want to use a Noxious Gearehulk quite yet on a Toolcraft Exemplar, so I think the right play is just to activate Hissing Quagmire, attacking for 6. Keep up the Grass to Darkness for the chopper. So this ended up being a pretty solid performance. We didn't even come close to finding the double red for Chandra. 4 Evolving Wilds and enough Smoldering Marshes, a couple basic mountains, and a Nissa's Renewal with a Pilgrim's Eye and a Traverse are usually enough. There are quite a bit of sources in this deck to find what we need. So Aether Hub can do Unlicensed Disintegration, see if you cast it in response to killing the Copter. Yeah, this heavy removal hand is exactly what we wanted to see game 1, with game 2 having the Radiant Flames come in and the anti. And he's got to use Unlicensed Disintegration here. That was inefficient because he allows me to activate the other one. So you should have waited till I attacked, not at the pre-combat. So we do know there's Unlicensed Disintegration, which can keep him alive. Sort of. He doesn't know I have the Noxious Gearehulk. I'll prefer to play that over. Alright, especially with Gideon. No, actually he just dies here if I just activate. Is there anything for 1 mana our opponent can do? I don't think there is. Doesn't matter. Noxious Gearehulk does the job here anyway. And unless he has some sort of 1 mana spell, which I don't recall anything in the format at the moment that can, cast for 1 to destroy like an attacking creature. There is actually there is one. I think isn't there one out of Zendikar? Battle for Zendikar? 2 damage target attacking Searing Light or something like that. Alright, so we saw this last time. We bring in the Essence Extractions, the natural states. Ob Nixilis. Nissa can come out. I love Nissa in this deck. I'm thinking about going up in more copies, but in this case, it's probably bad. Same with the Seasons Past and the Tutors. Tutors can go eat like a Radiant Flames. You just don't want to be reacting to your opponent using your 4th turn to go try to find something. We do want the Radiant Flames, the Ruinous Paths. Dragonmaster Outcast actually doesn't seem too terrible. I'm going to try it. We didn't try it last time. I think this is the perfect time to actually give it a go. Transgresses often miss. You hit a few key cards, but I don't think they're worthwhile. And then I think having too many Painful Truths is too painful, pun intended. And the Tireless Tracker, our opponent brings in a lot of hate for them, so I'm not even quite sure we want to go that route into too heavy. I think I'd rather have a Dark Salvation over a Tireless Tracker, just as another little spot removal. We did play Chandra last time. Is Chandra just better than Ob Nix? What are the other cards that I took out? We wanted Ruinous Path, Deadweight, Collective Brutality, Grass of Darkness. All of those are good. Pilgrim's Eye, the Radiant Flames. I swear there was another card I took out last time to bring these. We had the other Tireless Tracker and the Chandras in, I thought. Wonder if Ob Nixilis is just too slow. And we'll run the Chandras over it. We do need a red source really, really quickly, though, if we're going to do this. And then Tireless Tracker can be... I did take out a Dark Salvation. This Tireless Tracker is better than a Dark Salvation at this point. I'm going to say no. Yeah, I'm going to say yes, actually. We do need some ways to fill back up our hand, and if we've sided everything else out. So we find one source for the Chandra. I do want to use it to go get the black source. These are the awkward hands. I'm going to keep it. We have an S6 Extraction and a Grass of Darkness. So we do have a draw to try to draw us into more information. I'd love to see like a Traverse or a another Evolving Wilds or a Pilgrim's Eye. But I'm not sure I can hold up a turn. Our opponent goes to 5, which with this hand, that's really good because we're taking care of 2 cards. And our opponent does not have a first turn play. So I might actually be safe enough just to play. Okay, now we got a swamp. So we can actually just play the swamp, and we can actually just tutor for a red source to be halfway there to Chandra. And if he doesn't play anything here, I think we can safely go Evolving Wilds. Noxious Gearehulk is definitely a nice card to top off our curve. And there is the Cultivator's Caravan, so the grass wouldn't have done anything anyway. And we'll go get a mountain. Now we have Essence Extraction up. And a Kalitas. Awesome. So Kalitas is going to be very good. The thing is, Cultivator's Caravan can get in for 5 this turn. And there's probably not much I can do about it. Worst case scenario, Gideon comes out. And I have to Essence Extraction a Gideon token. Yeah, that's... See if he goes for actually plussing Gideon and attacking me, and he does not. So actually, that's about as best our opponent can do on that turn. We will go Kalitas here. Hopefully it survives. We do need to find that other Chandra mana. Worst case scenario here is the Kalitas gets declared. Harness, and he does have the 4 because of the Aether Hub. So Gideon attacks in for 5. Wow. Oh no, he puts out a 2/2. Yeah, I still think attacking for 5 would probably be the right play there. We have a Grass of Darkness to sort of take care of a card. But I wonder if Noxious can actually get the job done. We're pretty far behind at this point. Didn't find the other red source for Chandra, which is kind of a glaring hole in this strategy. I'm thinking about taking out another forest for another Smoldering Marsh. Opponent does only have 2 cards in hand. We do have... I should have responded to that, actually, if he's going to crew the Cultivator's Caravan. Yeah. Need that Ruinous Path as soon as possible. So you have to grasp off another useless Knight token. Does give us a target for the Noxious Gearehulk. There's the Smoldering Marsh. Perfect. Now Chandra is something we can cast. So we'll kill the Knight ally. Our opponent has to do something against the Noxious Gearehulk because it can actually trade with the Cultivator's Caravan. And that gets us back up to 20. So this late game, we need to avoid drawing into lands. Chandra will be good, though, because anything I can exile I can usually cast. Opponent does have plenty of lands to do whatever he wants on turn. And Veteran Motorist can crew the Cultivator's Caravan, which actually does bring it up to... It only gets +1/+1, so it does crew the Caravan into a 6/6. And he does Scry 2, and he put them both... Let's see where he put those. Both on bottom and top. Bottom and top. So he likes one of them, hates the other. So land on bottom and... Gonna go with the Gideon here. I highly disagree with that play. Because it now gives me an opportunity to kill... Oh, wow, yeah. It's a beautiful card in the Dragonmaster Outcast. I wish I could play it this turn. He's trying to bait me into crewing. So he can still have... So I think Chandra actually kills the Knight ally. Yep. And why am I trying to tap for big Chandra? We have little Chandra. Because now he can't block, so Gideon dies. Unless there is some sort of reaction. It'd have to be like a bombardment and a harnessed lightning to kill the Noxious Gearehulk. See, if we would have targeted the Veteran Motors, he would have crewed the Cultivator's Caravan. Now we can attack into the Gideon. And he cannot block because of this pesky ability called Menace. We do lose Chandra on the Crackback, but Chandra's absorbing a lot of damage being at 1 loyalty. And Gideon, we answered the problematic Gideon, which is really, really good. Because it's one of the cards, at this stage in the game, it's one of the only cards in the deck that can actually take over the game. And it took a lot to do that. We had to kill a ton of night tokens with a lot of our resources. This here, the play is definitely going to be kill Chandra, in my opinion. Actually get in for some damage as well by crewing the Cultivator's Caravan. So Depala actually was strong because now I can scry for more vehicles. So we really, really need to avoid drawing into lands, and we need the Dragonmaster Outcast to survive. But I'm very, very surprised that that was not crewed. So, but that's 4 damage that Chandra absorbs. Grasp is huge here. He's got to kill the Dragonmaster. And I'm just going to keep back the Noxious Gearehulk as a blocker. You can trade with the Cultivator's Caravan. So he does crew. See if he taps to scry. And he will put both in. So I don't think a dwarf or a vehicle is that problematic at this point. We're spitting out 5/5. Finds an Inventor's Apprentice off of it. No, puts no cards in hand. I thought it... Oh, this is a reveal zone that when we... Oh no, Inventor's Apprentice is not a dwarf. Haha, it's a human. So those are off the top, though. Needle Spires actually is active. I want to see a crewing of the Cultivator's Caravan so we can Grasp of Darkness to Paula. He can, in response, crew with Veteran Motorist. Well, there's another card that could get us. Man, he transitioned over to a later game strategy. And there's the Dragonmaster Outcast that does die. So I will Grasp of Darkness to Depala. And now we need some good top decks here. Like an Appetite. Or a Swamp. Swamp works too. Yeah, I think this is game. So I'm surprised he's able to draw some high impact cards right there. And Depala to Sky Sovereign. Don't really have a lot of answers. I mean, Murders. We did get the Grasp, but again, this is just another match where I feel very flooded. We are playing a high land count, but still. Tireless Tracker would be wonderful here. Well, not really, because the Sky Sovereign's console, or the console's flagship is just really, really powerful against what I'm trying to be doing. He does have to find a way to crew it with the Veteran. The Veteran Motor needs to crew it. Attacks in for 7. 3 damage gets to be split. I mean, if he activates Needle Spires, now he gets to crew both with the Scrap Heap Scrounger. So that was an action ideal draw, too, because the Scrap Heap has another activation if our opponent remembers it from the graveyard by exiling to Pala. So Radiant Flames would not be the worst card in the world to draw into, because it would be able to not crewing the Cultivator's Caravan again. I think that's a mistake. And we will 100% make that trade. Yeah, that gives us a removal spell, which means that then our opponent can't even crew. Unless he's got another one. Or, yeah, 3 vehicles? Good luck crewing those. So I need that Radiant Flames / Nope. Even Painful Truce at this point would be good. He does find the other Scrap Heap Scrounger, which allows for 2 crews, which allows for 11 damage. Honestly, don't even think I have a card that can get me out of this now. Killing the Sky Sovereign, killing the Dragonmaster Outcast was clutch, and then finding the Scroungers after that. Yeah, it has to be Radiant Flames, and then our opponent just has to forget that he can get his guy back. Liliana is not going to do it. We can get back a... Oh yeah, we can get back a Noxious Gearehulk. Can I do it all in one turn? But I don't even think that does anything. Because we only go up to a 5. But you never know. Our opponent could just forget that he has lethal on board. "12 lands out of 21 cards, though, was pretty unlucky statistically. So he does see the line of play. So we'll go on to the next. We'll go on to the sideboard. Ob Nixilis might actually just be better. Transgress, now that my opponent is actually putting in more high-value cards, might be a decent line of play. Because the flagship is something I do need to take care of. We have Murder, and basically Murder is how we get, and then the Appetite. Might just forego the Tireless Trackers for a few Transgresses. I know I'd need a way to draw. A pick the Brain actually just might be more powerful than Transgress. It still comes out before Gideon. Nissa still does seem not ideal. I think Ob Nixilis wants me. I'm just going to run one pick. Gosh, this deck kind of does want Seasons Past. I think I have to go to late game. I hate just dirtling out. We control, and then have nothing to show for it. Seasons Past is kind of the card draw between Painful Truce and Seasons Past. So I'm going to just run a split of one each. And Ob Nixilis, we'll bring in some more just finishers as far as Planeswalkers are concerned. It seemed like he had a tougher time dealing with Planeswalkers. So the pit can take out one problematic card. Who knows? We might have Delirium when we cast it. To the Slaughter's another way. To the Slaughter's hard to kill. We have to kill the card crewing and then to the Slaughter, but it's definitely an option. Delirium again can take care of a Gideon. Because there's really in this match after a board wipe, it's just going to be the Consul's Flagship or the Gideon that can take the game back. We had to fight through a Gideon that game as well as a Flagship. I'm going to keep it. Radiant Flames and Appetite, Grasp. We are at the mercy of hitting that third land. But we have a number of draws to do so. Our opponent molds to 6 again. That's the one problem with running these 3 and 4 color aggro is hands can be a little bit difficult to keep your first 7. You have a lot of cards that require multiple colors. So Black Source would be the best thing to draw into because Ruinous Path and Grasp of Darkness are a little bit weak. And we found it. Awesome. So now we have the Radiant Flames that we're going to spread out. If he goes Chopper, then we'll just kill the Chopper. If he goes anything else, we'll Radiant Flames. And it looks like a weak hand, which is the Apprentice, which means no Radiant Flames. There's a Natural State as well. We have a backup Radiant Flames. Yeah, it's worthwhile just to pass the turn. So I want to hit land drops, though. I mean, the worst case scenario is we just keep pass no land drop, go type thing, and then we're stuck. So the Cultivator's Caravan absolutely gets natural stated. And we're only taking 1. So I'm not going to worry about the Inventor's Apprentice for quite a while. And Ob Nixilis will just pass the turn back. So we need that 5th land for Ob Nixilis. But I'm feeling good about this. We have the answer for Gideon. But our opponent is now ahead with the land count. But card advantage, I mean, we'll have cards for late game if it goes late game. And beautiful, now we Radiant Flames. Found our other red source, which is incredibly good if we draw into a Chandra. No play by our opponent. We'll run it out. Might as well. See if he has a removal spell for it. I'm going to keep the Appetite, and I'm going to kill a Chopper. Well, Chopper I can kill with the... So Harness Lightning does kill the Dragonmaster Outcast. So gets a card out of his hand. And we find Evolving Wilds. Comes to play tap it, that's fine. Get a black source, pass the turn. And Ob Nixilis can come out next turn, or as soon as we can safely throw him out. And this one should be in the bag. There's a Depala. And I actually don't want to use a Grasp. I just rather use Ob Nixilis here. We have a backup Ob Nixilis. You have to find a way to attack into Ob Nixilis. Here's where if he throws out the ship, it can actually get some value and kill the Ob Nixilis, but then I can Appetite it the next turn and even keep up Grasp of Darkness. And if he does not throw out the ship, Chandra. Chandra actually kills Ob Nixilis. We'll Ruinous Path to Chandra next turn. Oh, and he's got to decide. Which Scrap Heap is very powerful. So Ob Nixilis does die. We will Ruinous Path the Chandra. Get another black source. And pass the turn. No play by our opponent, so this is where Ob Nixilis shines. +1, and we find a swamp. Pass the turn. We have Grasp up. We have a nice padding with Ob Nixilis at 6. Wonder what could be in our opponent's hand because he did not play land last turn. Probably a ton of removal like Declarations and Stones, and there's the flagship. So it does hit the Ob Nixilis. I'm just going to use it right now. And we'll Smoldering Marsh. And then Chandra. Plus Chandra. Can't cast a Pilgrim's Eye. Don't really want it anyway. And now we have our Planeswalker control out. With Double Grasp of Darkness and Radiant Flames. So I have a hard time seeing my opponent coming back from this spot. I know last game I said that. But we got rid of the Sky Stormer, which is usually just a 1-of in the deck. And also a Chandra, which is also a card that can cause problems. So we'll plus Chandra first. Don't want a Chandra into a Chandra. And attacking with the Hissing Quagmire. And both the Chandra and the Ob Nixilis are incredibly close to ultimating, and both of those are impossible to come back from. I'm going to Chandra's 5 damage start creature player, which is basically everything in his deck, including Gideon with the redirection of damage. So we'll see where he goes with the Gideon. Speak of the devil. Puts out that knight. Cruise. We'll kill. And redirect to Gideon. Activate Hissing Quagmire. Attack Gideon. We'll Collective Brutality. We'll choose all 3. So here, discard and discard. We get a Declaration Stone and License Disintegration. I think actually a License is more powerful than a Declaration. And our opponent does scoop. So he just kept a ton of removal. So it would have been good versus like those Tireless Trackers, and it would have been good versus the Kalitas. But, you know, we correctly cited that at least Tireless Trackers out. So 2-0, we'll go on to the next game. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.